Here are my top 3 tips for fluke or soft jerkbait fishing. So tip number 1 is going to be to vary your retrieve, vary your cadence. Depending on the day, depending on the bass's mood, they might want the fluke moving a bit differently. Sometimes they want it really fast, sometimes a bit slower. Sometimes they want it darting side to side super erratically, and sometimes they just kind of want it fluttering in a straight line. You never really can tell, so once you get out there on the water, make sure to vary your retrieve for the first 30-45 minutes or so until you start getting bites, and then you can stick with whatever retrieve is working going forward for the rest of the day. Tip number 2 is to focus on fishing the fluke in clear water. It's a very visual technique. It doesn't have a ton of sound or vibration or thump. It's very visual. The visual erratic darting action as well as the natural realistic bait fish profile is what triggers the bass to bite. So you want some clearer water so this bass can see it from a bit farther away and you can get a lot more bites. Now if you are fishing in a bit more stained water, try to go with like a pearl color with a very bright white if you're imitating shad. And if you're imitating bluegill, go with like a jet black because those two colors are a bit more visible. So if you are fishing in more stained water, you want it to be as visible as possible. So clear water the majority of the time, but if it is stained, go with like a pearl or a black colored fluke. And tip number 3 is going to be choosing the right gear depending on the hook that you use. If you're rigging your fluke up on a worm hook like an EWG or offset, you generally want to fish it on a bait casting setup with a bit heavier line. That way you have enough power to create a big enough hook gap on your hook set as well as drive those thicker hooks into the bass's mouth. But if you're using a little finesse like mosquito hook and you're just nose rigging your soft jerk baits and flukes, you want to downsize to light line on a finesse spinning setup. That way you can be as finesse and subtle as possible and get the finickier bass to bite that don't want to commit to the heavy line, big hook setup with the bait casting.